Hey folks, welcome to Flick of the Week. I'm your host Nick Drake.
And I'm Jordan Moore.
And this is a show where we have movie talk for movie people.
Yeah.
Movies.
Today we're talking about The Revenant.
Let's get started.
Wait, let me explain something to you. I'm the dude.
What is it? It's the one that said bad motherfucker.
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
We're sending you back to the future.
Alright, so let's just get into some credentials, or lack thereof. I'm just your homebody movie buff, walking, talking encyclopedia. Jordan is in fact movie school dropout.
I'm a film school dropout.
You went to college.
Community college.
You finished a whole year.
No.
How much?
Just one semester.
What do you learn in one semester? How
I
to
learned
turn on
everything.
the light?
Actually, very, very briefly, I learned... I took this class called the block class.
I thought you were going to say coffee giving class or something.
I took a film history class and I know everything. No, but I took this class called the block class, and basically it's everything you're going to learn in film school.
Why doesn't everybody just take that one and then quit?
Well, that's the thing, is that they said, they're like, you're going to fail this class unless you take it in third semester, because really film school is 2 years, something like that. But
that's it?
Yeah, it's really short. But that's if you're just going to film school. If you're not worrying about everything else.
You don't need a bachelor's degree in film. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, but I took that class. I got a C. They said I was going to fail. I got a C, and I was like...
C's get degrees.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm a smart ass. I don't need school no more. And actually, first day, first class, my teacher said, if you're in it for the degree, leave now. Because you can't take a diploma and walk into Hollywood and say, give me a job. So I left, and I started my own company, and here I am. So I do make videos for a living.
So you had the Gene Hackman little thing. They're like, you will never act. You suck. And Gene Hackman's like, I'll show you. Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah, didn't they say...
Boom.
He really showed him.
Yeah.
Didn't they say he was too natural for acting?
Yeah, that's you're a natural. You're terrible. Get out of here. All right, so let's get into the movie we're talking about today. The Revenant stars Leo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, Domhnall Gleeson, the redhead from Force. I don't know. Do they have H's in other countries like that? I don't know.
I honestly don't know.
Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu. I think
Iñárritu?
the N with a little squiggly, you have to put a Y sound.
I feel like why can't we say it? Because I've watched a million interviews where they say his name correctly.
Do they say Iñárritu?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I think it's Iñárritu. Iñárritu?
Okay. Well, agree to disagree, Jordan. But before we get into that, some movie news, some movie updates, some interesting facts.
Movie news.
Tales of the Crypt.
What's happening with that?
It's coming back.
They're bringing Tales of the Crypt back.
It's originally an HBO show. You didn't like Tales of the Crypt?
I was never a big fan.
I was freaked out. Look at that face. You see that every episode? You're like, what the? He's always teaching people life lessons. I think that show is to serve don't treat people like crap, because those people always ended up getting it the worst. And they do you remember the cartoon? The cartoon was on Nickelodeon or something. But they always had a happy ending. It ended up being a dream, or it turns around in a whirlwind and they're fine at the end because they can't show kids,
I don't remember
dying.
The cartoon, but I do remember the show. And then what the funny thing is that when we were figuring out the lineup today, you talked about this and we brought it up, but I never elaborated on the fact that I don't really care about
without
it.
lying. Okay,
but yeah.
Well, let me tell you this. It's a TNT show now.
Okay.
Originally HBO. So when you have an HBO show, you have got Game of Thrones and the new Westworld, where people are signing releases saying that you have to be okay with people touching your genitals and things like that. Yeah, they're really upping the ante. So TNT they're issuing a statement we're gonna up the violence. We're gonna up the sexuality of the show. And now, I think ever since Walking Dead, like, other cable shows have not been too afraid to, like, show more than, you know, a slap in the face or something like that, unless they were, like, a crime drama to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, have you noticed how it's really upscale? Breaking Bad always ended up with, like, a crazy scene, somebody blowing up or something like that.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
Well, you know, with Breaking Bad, they got more and more intense. It seemed like every season, but then they gave Jesse a love interest, and they totally shied away
Jones.
from.
Yeah, they killed her off.
But they totally shied away from like actually having a sex scene, like a real sex scene, considering all the other shit you see in that show.
There was one scene where they show like Walter kind of like with his wife.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, actually, don't want to watch that.
First episode.
Was that the
first episode of the show? Yeah, it was just raunchy.
Well, there was another episode like later on where he gets like more confident.
Oh yeah,
And she's like, "What is going on?" And he's like, "I'm taking charge. I'm Bryan Cranston.
I'm the one who knocks.
People know me. I'm the one who knocks."
I'm the one who bangs.
Guess who's the new? I don't know if he's just a showrunner or a writer. I'm assuming he's writing because that's what he's known for. M. Night Shyamalan.
That's crazy. So is he going back to his roots, or what?
Well, here's the thing. He made a show called Wayward Pines, and that's doing pretty well. That's kind of a weird thriller-like show too. And I think he's finding that he's going to be more successful with TV.
Yeah.
The Visit was kind of like a step in the right direction. That like kind of fake documentary thing with the kids and the grandparents visiting.
Okay.
That horror movie. Yeah, it's
see,
like a horror comedy.
Here's the problem. It's like with everything. Is I'm not a huge horror fan, so all of this is kind of new to me. It's
Do you not like Signs, and don't you like the storytelling behind that? Because I think that's all M. Night Shyamalan.
I like suspense. I like thrillers. Horror, not really my forte.
Last Airbender, I think everybody else is on board with that statement there, because everybody's like, man, what is this happening movie? Yeah. Nothing is happening. They should have called that movie The Crappening, because that's all I saw. But Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, that wasn't even scary. It was just like, this is a superhero movie without any crazy CGI heroics in it. But boy, did that have a cliffhanger ending. Yeah, they're thinking about writing a sequel too. I heard.
Really?
Rumors, nothing confirmed.
All right, next.
Let's move on. Making a Murderer. Netflix's new docu-series. Apparently they've been, I know, right? Stephen Avery. You haven't seen the show.
I have not.
This was the most watched Netflix show over the holidays. It is such a crazy show. This guy goes away for 18 years for rape. They find out he's innocent because this was like in the 80s. They used DNA to prove that he was innocent. Yeah. Spent his whole life. He comes out like a 40-something-year-old man.
That's crazy.
That's the first episode. The rest of the 10-episode series, the same from what it looks like the stance the documentary takes is that there's corruption in this Wisconsin town. With the cops and the DA. It's like a real life, like John Grisham book, you know, and he goes away for a murder this time. It's the craziest. Every episode will leave you going like, what the heck? Yeah. And I mean, spoilers, but he ends up still in jail. But it's the most interesting thing I've ever seen on Netflix, I think, as far as like documentaries go. Per episode, you know, people are blaming Netflix about the stance because some people are like, he is guilty, he's not guilty, and I'm like, doesn't Netflix just buy the documentaries? They don't actually go like, let's put the stick at this thing, let's. It's
a Netflix original documentary. It's just because they purchased it,
right? Because they've been filming for 10 years.
But I did hear that
Netflix was just off the ground 10 years ago, right?
Yeah. I did hear that they manipulated the truth, kind of thing. Like, this isn't...
True, but then again, so did the defense against him.
Yeah.
So...
You're right.
Who's right? Who's wrong? But here's the interesting fact. 100,000 upwards people wrote the White House. Obama issued a statement saying, hey, this is a state level, can't do anything about that. We can't pardon him. So then 300,000 people-ish upwards wrote the governor of Wisconsin.
Really?
And they're like trying to get this guy, excused or another trial. In the show that explains that they get turned down in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And his nephew goes away too for the same crime pretty much as like an accomplice.
Oh.
So can you believe that one 10-episode thing just like uproared 500,000 people?
That's the point. Well, I believe that's like the point of documentary.
I've never seen that happen with documentaries though. Not on that scale. Maybe Super Size Me, they really just got like the Super Size option off the menu.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, kill McDonald's, free McDonald's. Come on.
It's funny. What's that term called in Shawshank Redemption, where you've been in too long and you become
get busy living or get busy dying.
Well, not that term, but then when they're like Ed or the old guy.
Red.
Ed. Red was he was an established man or whatever.
Oh, okay. When he's been in that long. Yeah.
I feel like if you're in there 18 years, like I'm not gonna.
I know. Their defense was like, let's not do this again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they did. I don't know. The evidence could be either way on the new case. But the old case, boy, did they drop the ball.
That's crazy. Moving on!
All right. So, the Riot Baton, Star Wars, Force Awakens. You haven't seen it? So, this guy has been deemed TR-8R by fans. Traitor, because that's like his only line.
Clever.
He's got this cool Riot Baton that swings around. It's pretty much like the nuclear deterrent to lightsabers, which a real army would probably do if they knew Jedis were around and stuff. And that's the only threat that is against the Sith. People with lightsabers.
I can't believe that they...
Wasn't he better than the Phasma character so far?
In my opinion, yeah, I agree.
Everybody's like, Game of Thrones, she's gonna be Phasma.
She didn't do anything, though.
Her armor is a mirror.
It was great. The armor looks great. She's sexy, mysterious. But she was too mysterious because she was mysteriously left out. There was no,
Here's the thing, is the day that the movie came out, there was a book called Before the Force Awakens, I believe, or Before the Awakening, and it goes on to tell the stories of Rey, Poe, and Finn. And I don't know if it's canon. It seems like it would be, because I've never seen another Star Wars movie that had that close of a connection between a book, like the same day they're going to release it. It seems like there should be. And it goes into the training of the stormtroopers, which Finn was. And so what you had was like these riot batons, and they're like pugils for like the military. Like that's the thing they train with. And that's where the riot baton comes out of. And it was him, Finn, and that other guy that like smears blood on the stormtrooper helmet.
In the very beginning of the Force Awakens.
So you feel a little bit more, if you read that book, you feel more for that guy. Like, oh, he was just an innocent murdering scumbag.
Next.
Thanos.
I really don't know anything about this one.
You don't watch the Marvels?
Well, no, I don't. You post the news on the Facebook page. I don't always read it. And this one, you still haven't told me what it is.
You do follow.
I know who Thanos is.
Are you a Marvel fan?
I'm enough of a Marvel fan.
Do you stay after the credits?
Yes.
Okay, that's enough.
So I've seen all of... I think this is actually a screen cap from a title sequence. He's like, we're going to get it done, you do it yourself.
Yeah, that's at the end. So what is going to happen is there's going to be a part 1 and part 2 of the last Avengers movie. Just like Mockingjay, The Virgin, Harry Potter, whatever. So now there's going to be a 2-parter for Avengers. And the thing is that the Guardians of the Galaxy is in space. So everybody thought Guardians of the Galaxy 2 would have Thanos and explain the correlation between Thanos getting to all the Infinity Stones and meeting up with Guardians of the Galaxy, like that would be the ultimate villain, you know. And assuming that at the end of that movie they would come back and say, "Hey, Avengers, you gotta help us. This guy's gonna tear apart the whole world. I'm Star-Lord. I'm from this planet, so come on." But it's been confirmed he's not in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Really? So now everybody's wondering. We know that Kurt Russell's in talks to play the dad of Star-Lord. That's about all we know. We thought we knew so much. We don't. Confirmed. Not in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Next. Indiana Jones. Ooh. You're clearly a fan.
I'm not. It's not a thing. Shut up.
So, it's been back and forth with Disney going, there's not going to be another movie. There is going to be another movie. It's going to be a reboot. It's going to be a sequel. It's not going to happen. Then, finally, what's his name? Iger, the chairman of Disney.
Yeah.
Says it's definitely going to happen. Indiana Jones 5. Confirmed. So Steven Spielberg was approached, and he's like, Harrison Ford is the only one that can do it. So it sounds like if you want Spielberg, you're going to get Ford.
Yeah.
Or you better get Ford. So if you could pull up the other...
Next image?
That apparently will not happen.
No Chris Pratt? Aww.
No Bradley Cooper. No nobody. It's going to end. Yeah. Should they kill off Indiana Jones? Should he die an old man passing the torch?
Yeah, the last movie... We don't need another redemption story.
I feel like they are in desperate need of a redemption movie. I think Spielberg should pull out his freaking directing tricks and pull together a masterpiece.
I agree to disagree because I don't really care about the continuation of the series.
I think his wife should get killed, and there should be a mystery, and to find out the killer, he's got to go find this treasure. That's a movie that I'd watch, not some swinging LaBeouf through the jungle movie. The Revenant, the movie that came out, the flick of the week.
This flick of this week, The Revenant.
Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Let's go into that. Here's some facts I pulled up.
Facts about Leo.
Dropped out of Steve Jobs for this film.
Man.
He ate real raw meat.
Mm-hmm.
He's a vegetarian in real life. Studied with a doctor to learn the ancient healing practices, which helps with that whole bear mauling his back scene. Shot real muskets, built real fires, learned Native American. What does this guy have to do to win an Oscar?
That's the funny thing, is that I was watching it with my dad, and my dad was like bullshit, he can't make a fire that quick. Like, we've always had a hard time making a goddamn fire. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you were watching the real thing. They didn't fabricate that. He was just using a flint, and he had dry leaves and stuff. He's like, we're gonna find that in the rain or in the snow. I think that, honestly, I don't think he has to do anything else. I think
he's acting with his eyes half the damn movie. Yeah. He's pretty much just saying, give me awards at this one scene. Christ. Let's go over his films.
Yeah.
Tell me if any of these are really undeserving. What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
I think that, he get
He did such a good job in that movie. When he went to the premiere, people thought he was special needs.
Oh my God.
And he started talking to people like, hi, I'm Leo, And people were like, what? Was he trained? What happened here?
Full retard.
They were not willing to accept that he did such a good acting job.
That's hilarious.
If that movie was made today, they would have gave it to him. Yeah. Guaranteed. Romeo and Juliet.
I've never seen that. I've not seen that reboot.
It's not for me, but it's like in the world of Oscars, that's there.
What's the other Western he's in when he was young?
Quick and the Dead.
Quick and the Dead.
Not quite Oscar worthy.
But I did like that movie. I thought that was a fun movie. It was fun.
Russell Crowe. Yeah. Titanic. Of course.
Yeah.
What the heck happened there? Oscars. Gangs of New York.
That should have been his his performance there. I mean, you take a knife to the gut, and DiCaprio probably took a knife to the gut. I'm just kidding. But
Wolf of Wall Street.
That one, incredible movie, deserving of like Best Picture. Not necessarily DiCaprio. That's
you don't think so?
That is an amazing DiCaprio.
I thought that whole scene where he is just freaking out on like drugs in a Lamborghini going no miles an hour.
He went
was like,
what was that called? He skipped the phases.
I mean, I had skipped the tingle phase and went straight to the drool phase.
The fetal position or whatever. And now there's a documentary of this on Netflix before people start calling in for that to be untrue too. He's playing Dr. H.H. Holmes, directed by Marty Scorsese, like next year, and infamous serial killer.
I heard about this. Does he build the big mansion?
He has like a hotel that he kills people at next to the fair or something.
That's crazy.
It's a crazy story. So if this doesn't do it, like he's setting himself up with great performances. No other actor does that.
That sounds like way better.
A regular actor will just do like one movie like this, and then like 8 action movies and a comedy, and then another one. Be like, oh, he stepped out of his realm. This is his realm. Just nobody's willing to admit it. I don't know.
I think that what is it, H.H. Holmes?
Mm-hmm.
I think that sounds like a way better version of like American Horror Story Hotel. I don't think it's a hotel though.
Good. I thought it was a hotel. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I read a whole thing about that. It's just a big house, and he hired like different contractors so that no one knew the layout but him. It's like a crazy story in real life, and I'm stoked for that story actually.
Is there
DiCaprio or no DiCaprio?
a role from a book or another movie that he would have been better in, or something that you'd like to see Leo in?
Oh man, I don't know. I just feel like I get every time I see a Leo DiCaprio movie, I feel like I'm getting my full
He
serving.
doesn't disappoint, really.
He never disappoints. That and this movie really is it's all DiCaprio for once, because movies don't have that. Usually, even like think about Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
Not that much screen time because there's so many other characters that kind of
Daniel Day-Lewis is in there.
Yeah, and Daniel Day-Lewis is like the Oscar king, and he just demands the screen. So even if he was actually in the movie less than Leo, but I think that he stole the show, really.
Full method.
So
there's this book called Beat the Reaper that I wrote, and he was once attached to, and it's like kind of like a...
Wait, you said that you
that
didn't
I read.
write?
No, I read.
Oh,
I
said
read.
you wrote. That's what I
think
heard.
I said read. Maybe
I was like, holy shit.
We'll go back to the video.
We got a writer.
Anyway, that I read, and he was attached to at one point, and it's kind of just like a funny kind of crime drama about like this doctor who grew up being like a hitman for the mob and like switched identities.
Who was this?
It was just a book.
Oh, it was just a book.
Yeah, called Beat the Ripper, and he was and I was like, that's like the perfect Shane Black kind of movie with like nice guys and kiss kiss bang bang. It falls into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I would just love to see Leo play that type of like mobster doctor kind of like Catch Me If You Can with the role swaps, but without the comedy behind it.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. Just like kind of daydreaming about the cast that could have been for the movie, because I know that Sean Penn was on board for a while as Fitzgerald.
Well, Tom Hardy and DiCaprio, I guess, are friends, and because they were both in Inception, and I guess they were looking for the secondary role, Tom Hardy's part, and he was set to play Splinter Cell.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And he's like, no, screw Splinter Cell. Come do this movie in the wilderness. And he's like, all right.
This seems to be like a running thing with DiCaprio, and in movies, he gets locked onto a movie, and then he's like, I gotta have Tom Hardy or I gotta have Daniel Day-Lewis, and then he like locks himself in a room with them and begs them until they're part of the movie.
Do it.
Do it now.
Do it.
He just does a full out performance. Like, I'll do anything for you to stop acting in my face. And
he goes all out, even for that little thing he did in Django.
Oh yeah. That's what everyone's like. They should have given him an Oscar for Django.
I thought he was just gonna show up first. He's barely in the trailer. It just shows him like that's all it shows in the trailer.
Calvin Candy.
Yeah, Calvin Candy, Candyland. What? Let's get away from DiCaprio centerpiece.
So,
what do you think about the film?
Inarritu. Can't think of it, how. I don't know how to say his name. Yeah.
Birdman.
I love the idea of shooting all in natural light, and a lot of people like the whole point of filmmaking when you're using lighting is to replicate what we're doing right now. Like this is a replication of natural light in some sense.
That's a fake light.
It's fake.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we just have two suns coming into this
That's right.
this fake window.
Yep.
God damn, I just looked straight into it.
Me too.
Why did they do that?
Back to the Revenant, though.
But the whole thing that's crazy about this movie is that, like, just to achieve a shot, it would be one day. They'd be like, okay, today we're going to achieve this shot with that pile of bones. But we want the sun to be right behind the flag.
I
and
can't
we want
believe
the
that
right
was
here.
natural light. Didn't that look like so eerie, like out of a horror movie?
Yeah.
They would mess with the light like that?
Bear in mind, there's tons of, like, there's
Editing
a lot
tricks.
not editing. Yes, editing tricks. I guess that's the right term. Color grading. It's color graded. Like if you watch the behind the scenes stuff, it's not as cold as it looks. It's not that cold. Like it's very cold, but it's not like the movie. You put on a jacket in the middle of the summer to watch this movie because it's freaking cold. But I remember specifically seeing a behind the scenes shot of the when they were crossing over the river near the waterfall. And the camera, which is such a cool crane shot. The camera follows a guy with the pelts, and then it dips up, shows the whole crew, and then it goes down into a crack in the ice that's like waterfall going down. It's crazy. Blows my mind.
So, Inarritu's kind of become synonymous with long shots, or just a take without any or little cuts.
Yeah.
Obviously, Birdman was not one whole take, but it was made up of like 10 one shots. It kind of seems.
I think it was a lot more than 10.
Yeah,
but
it was a lot more than 10.
The illusion of one shot, and the same thing happens. I don't think most people notice because they're so distracted. But the bear mauling scene is supposed to be one shot. If you look at it, it's just close and wide and close and wide, but it's still the same action. No cuts have happened, and that's insane.
Do you think that that's his style now? Or do you think that's just 2 movies in a row?
I think that he used it. He did not use it all the time in The Revenant. There's tons of cuts. If you watch the movie...
But there are, like, quite... I mean, most movies that you see might have, like, 1 in it. He has, like, at least 10. At least.
Yeah. One of the interesting things is that during the production of the movie, there was so much like
delays.
news and news about the production being like harsh and people like getting fired and stuff. And what ended up happening, what I ended up finding out that I thought was surprising is that everyone knew from the start what they were in for.
Yeah.
And production got pushed back mostly because they were doing the natural lighting.
Didn't they have to switch to another country because it was no longer cold? And I think they were shooting in Canada.
They were shooting in Canada, and they went to Chile, I think
Argentina or something.
Argentina. Yeah, it was Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why the production took so long. It's not... People were thinking that it was just a grueling, like, we got to do the shot a million times.
If you don't want to use fake snow, you got to use real snow. Real snow melts.
Yeah.
You know? Let's get into the history of Hugh Glass. Glass.
Yeah, I have one really interesting fact is the movie's great, and it's supposed... I mean, obviously, a guy gets mauled by a bear, and he survives, and he comes back for revenge. Cue the title, obviously. The Revenant is the ghost,
like a
the
ghost
return.
that comes back? Okay.
Yeah. There is back from the dead kind of thing. And the thing about it that they don't talk about, the true story of Hugh Glass, is he was left for dead by two people.
Right.
There was that other guy, and
the guy from We're the Millers and Maze Runner. I can't remember his name.
His name was Jeff, or Mountain Man Jim Daniels.
It's referenced in Inglourious Bastards by Brad Pitt. He was like, my family comes from the mountains, and that was a real person. Aldo Rain.
Aldo the Apache is a direct descendant of Mountain Man Jim Daniels.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that was an interesting little factoid.
I heard that the true story, he doesn't actually kill his assailants, his traitors, those sorts.
Well, yeah, that's the real true story is it takes place over several years, and his climb,
winter.
his first climb out from where he was trapped, like he camped and like healed, and maybe
I can't believe that back then. Like I just assumed if you got like a toe cut off, you're dead. Infection gone.
But he is a mountain man, so he was able to survive. I think here's the thing about the movie. I think they incredibly dramatized the bear mauling. It probably wasn't as bad as they made it out to be, because in that time period you could die from a single arrow. You could just get a disease.
Isn't that what happened? That one guy got shot in the leg, and they're like leave him.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
He's done.
Anybody got any arrow doctors?
Exactly.
Nope. Got her.
So, the thing about it though is that I think they dramatized that, and also on top of that, I think that they didn't do a super good job at describing what happened to Glass. Because here's the thing, he crawled because his leg was the worst part of his mauling was his
20
leg.
miles or something.
No, 200 miles.
No way.
It was 200 miles through the wilderness of like uncharted America.
Man, I'm like after a 5K, like God, I'm never running again.
Yeah.
And this guy crawled 200 miles.
But it was over the course of months. This movie is supposed to take place over the course of months, and then once he got found, and then Fitzgerald was on the run, he was healing at that camp for another year. Then he went after him, and I guess that Jim Daniels made fame for himself in other things, so he didn't want to be like, I don't think he didn't want to be the guy who was known for killing Jim Daniels at that point.
Gotcha. He's like,
he's tracked him down and he got his revenge, but he didn't.
He's
kill
an
him.
alright dude. No,
so, it was definitely a movie, which
they've already made a movie about this in the 70s. Did you know about that? It was called Man in the Wilderness, and it had Richard Harris, who is the original Dumbledore before he passed, rest in peace, and John Huston, who made Maltese Falcon. And that they named him. It was like Dan Lass or something like that. They don't. Could they not get the rights to Hugh Glass or something back then? Or
that's funny.
I don't know. Maybe they just changed it.
Well, that's a lot of cases. I think nowadays we as a population are more interested in
facts.
In true stories, and it makes you.
His name was William, not Bill.
Yeah.
Get it right.
But back then it was always about like fabricating. You're telling a story. Very rarely is a story like true. Nowadays, if Titanic hadn't existed, if they made Titanic now, they probably would have been they would have stuck true to some.
There's no Rose. There's no Jack.
That never happened. I don't know.
All in all, what's your opinion? Somebody was saying, let me ask you this. I read an article saying that the movie, like the beauty behind all the cinematography, the experience you get to follow, the way that you get to follow these characters are better than the actual story. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people said, that the story was lacking, but the visual, it was a visual triumph. It was like a beautiful movie.
So was Avatar, and really that story was like unobtainium.
Yeah.
What Leo did in this movie, man, he used every trick in the acting book for this film. My God.
I agree. I think that Leo did it, and
I think it's an enjoyable movie for anybody. This is kind of a Western, no?
That's what I just was reading a Rolling Stone article, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. It said DiCaprio's new Western, And I'm like, it's not it is a Western. It takes place in the Western America. Like Western...
Is Into the Wild a Western?
No. I mean,
it's
modern
Alaska.
Western.
It's West.
It's West. We went West.
All right. Now we come to the part of the show where we quiz Jordan on his movie knowledge, which he seems to lately not have a whole lot of. I hope you prove me wrong.
I know about making movies, but I always fudge up.
You forget a lot.
I'm terrible at remembering things. Yeah. You
have 3 minutes to answer as many completely of the 5 questions that I have for you. This week is about Leo and Leo's movies.
Oh, man.
Appropriately. Are you ready, sir?
I hope none are about the Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, let me write that one down.
I didn't get those questions. They're
just
all about
Actually, none of them are about that.
Oh, good.
You left out.
Maybe he's lying. Maybe he's full of shit.
No, I'm good.
All right.
All right.
Maybe I shouldn't have this because I can't cheat.
Don't cheat. I got the timer right here. All right, ready?
Okay.
All right, start. 3 minutes. Which movie did he play Conman Frank Abagnale Jr.?
Catch Me If You Can.
Good. What is Leo's character name in Wolf of Wall Street?
Jordan Belfort.
Oh, nice. Who was the director for his movie The Beach?
Ooh. Ooh.
2.5 minutes.
I'll pass.
What movie besides Titanic also starred Leo and Kate Winslet?
Ooh. Leo and Kate Winslet.
If you get all 5, you win free movie tickets.
Damn it.
You're never going to get those fucking tickets, though.
I'm going to pass.
Name 4 of the 5 films to date Leo and Scorsese have done together.
What? Okay, so they did Wolf of Wall Street. They did what's that called? The Gangs of New York.
2.
And I don't think
you get 2 more.
Wait. Oh.
You got 1:45.
God damn. Who else was he? Nothing's coming to mind.
Think. You can just start naming Leo movies and maybe you'll get lucky.
I can't think of anything right now.
You don't know. We just talked about
my mind went blank.
Wow.
We just talked about one of them?
Yeah.
That's another Scorsese movie?
Yeah.
Is it The Quick and the Dead? That wasn't a Scorsese movie. I don't know. I'm dying to know now. But I don't, so I lose.
Are you saying you don't know any of the other 3?
I don't think I want to sit here and anymore. So I lose.
All right. You had
damn it
a choice between The Departed.
Oh my god!
The Aviator.
Ah!
Did you say Gangs of New York?
Yeah, I said that.
Or Shutter Island.
Shitballs! I totally knew all those movies. And
No, you didn't.
Movies.
No, you didn't.
Well, no, I knew it, but I didn't know it.
The director for The Beach was Danny Boyle.
And I knew it. Ah!
And the movie with Leo and Kate Winslet was Revolutionary Road.
I've never seen that.
Clearly.
So that, fuck you.
All right.
Okay.
That about wraps it up for this week of Flick of the Week. Next week, we've got 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. It's got James Badge Dale and John Krasinski from The Office. Oh. And it's directed by Michael Bay. Let's hope he doesn't, Pearl Harbor this one up.
I don't know. I'm not too jazzy about this movie, but
no.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Till next time, we ain't afraid of dying.
Because we already done it already. Right?
Yep.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to hear more about movie news, new movies, or movie trivia, click subscribe. And, see you next time on Flick of the Week.